I was born on October 6, 1991, which happened to be the day I was supposed to be born. But in the morning, my parents didn't know that I would be arriving that day. They even went to church, so it's always been the family joke that I got to go to church the day I was born. And I've loved being in church ever since. I was born, and prenatally I was not diagnosed with spina bifida, so when I arrived and I had this lump on my back, they didn't really know what it was. The doctors there didn't think it was spina bifida because I was moving my legs around so much, but they decided that the next day I would go to a larger hospital about an hour and a half from where I live in Iowa City, Iowa. It was at the larger hospital at University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics that I was diagnosed with spina bifida, and that was what had caused that lump. Then from there they decided what surgery I would need to have done to remove that lump, and when I was 1 month old, when I had my first surgery, and it was a neurosurgeon who completed that and worked for about 4 hours to slowly remove that lump, and just piece by piece. They didn't know if part of my spinal cord was there, and he told my mom and dad after the surgery that my nerves were like a mess of spider webs, like a spider web that he had to slowly untangle, and my mom said his eyes were just bloodshot. And he told my mom that he did all that he could do, but he pointed to my mom's cross necklace and said that we would have to leave the rest up to that, which has been such a testament to my whole life, just the way that God has continually been revealing himself to me through spina bifida. I grew and I started walking when I was supposed to start walking, which was an awesome thing because they didn't know at that point would I be able to walk without crutches or what would I need, but I started walking, and I was a very active little kid. I was very talkative and just loved life. When I was 5 years old, that was when I needed to have my next surgery. My L5 vertebrae was the vertebrae that hadn't completely finished forming, and so doctors needed to fuse my vertebrae together and complete that part of my back. And so I had about a 5 to 7 hour surgery where they placed bone there along with some metal and plates and screws, and completed that, and they called it a spinal fusion. I was in a cast after that surgery for about 3 months, and then after I had the cast off, I did physical therapy, relearned how to walk. I used crutches and a walker for a little while, and then was able to later walk independently. The only form of equipment I still use today is an ankle brace I wear on my left foot because I'm unable to move my left foot due to the spina bifida, but I'm able to move my right foot. I had the same surgery actually redone when I was 7 and did the same thing, a cast for 3 months, and then relearning how to walk, the physical therapy. After that second surgery when I was 7, I had a little break from surgeries for a while, went through 3rd grade, went through 4th grade, and when I was in 4th grade was definitely a big year for my faith. I went to a Women of Faith conference with my mom, and that was where I made my big commitment to Christ, that I wanted to live for Christ and live for him completely. Went on through 5th grade, went on through 6th grade, and in 7th grade we realized that I was no longer growing, and my legs were 2 different lengths. As I grew, the leg length difference grew, and when I finally stopped growing, my legs were about 1.5 inches different. My left leg was shorter than my right leg. So that's when we pursued having my leg lengthened through a very more recent medical advancement called limb lengthening, where they break the bone either in someone's arms or their legs and then separate the 2 broken bones, and then the body, using its natural healing ability, will grow in where that broken place was. And that was a big and awesome year for me. It was a 15-month long process, but God used that time to just really transform my life. He taught me so much about who he was and rescued me really out of a time in those middle school years when things can be so trivial and so just that don't really matter. Those things that don't really matter but seem so important at the time, clothes and friends and popularity. But by going through the leg lengthening experience, I was kind of taken out of that and really taught, wow, what really matters, our relationship with God and living for him. And it was through that time of growing that I grew spiritually, and I learned so much through that. In the Bible it talks about how we're blessed when we go through trials, which when we read that initially can seem so, what? We're blessed when we go through trials? But we see that that it really is a blessing. And when I think about the eternal perspective, this life on earth is so short, it's so small, but to think what really matters is eternity in heaven, and just praying that, God, I want to be fit for your kingdom, whatever it's going to take, even if it is going through these trials. And such a testament that my leg would have never grown if it hadn't been broken, and such a testament to my heart that God does the most growing in the broken places. And that is just a message I want to share with people, that it's scary and it's painful, but it's in that brokenness that we're able to grow and be transformed into all that God wants us to be. And if we just surrender that brokenness to Him, lift it up to Him and let Him use it, we'll grow in ways that we would have never thought possible.